Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to start a new series that is NCERT Solutions. In this series we are going to cover all the chapters of class 12th mathematics, and in each chapter we will be covering all the exercises, all the questions and all the subparts. That means we will skip nothing at all. I will make sure that this is the only platform you need for your maths subject, and you won't need anywhere else to look for your solutions or confusions or the concepts. Okay, and the flow in which we will be studying is I will take exercise first, we will study the concepts used, then we will solve the questions. Okay, then we will learn the concepts used in second exercise, and then we will solve the questions of second exercise. Okay, so in this manner we will go flow by flow, line by line, so that it will be easiest and most organized for you guys. Okay, so with this, let's get started with chapter number 1, relations and functions, by Kanchan J. Chaudhary, and that is me. Okay, so for the first exercise all you need is this small definition. Okay, let's see what it says. It is definition 3 of NCERT. It says a relation R in set A is called reflexive, symmetric and transitive at these conditions. So let's see what these conditions are. Okay, before understanding these, let's take a simple example so that we can relate as well. Let's take an example such that the set consists of only 1, 2 and 3. And now I am defining a relation. Okay, so this relation in set builder form is let's say A is less than or equal to B. Okay, so all the pairs such that A is less than or equal to B is our relation. Now just to visualize it, let's see it in the form of elements. Okay, so if I'm taking A as a 1. Okay, so now tell me elements which are equal to 1 or greater than 1 in the set A. So that is 1 1. Of course 1 is equal to 1. Okay, next it can be 1 comma 2. Okay, what I'm implying here, let's see, I'm saying that 1 is less than equal to 1, which is true. 1 is less than equal to 2, again which is true. 1 is less than equal to 3. Okay, 1 is also less than equal to 4, but we won't consider this pair. Why? Because 4 is not in our set. Okay, 4 is not in our set. We are defining relation on the set, so we cannot take any element, any number, digit or anything other than that set. Okay, so for 1 we have 3 pairs. Let's write it down. 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2. The third pair is 1 comma 3. Similarly, let's look for if the value of A is 2. Okay, if the value of A is 2, so 2 is less than equal to 2. 2 is less than equal to 3, and that's all. Okay, can you think of another pair? I can't, but if you know, let me know. Okay, so let's write 2 comma 2 and 2 comma 3. And for 3 it will be 3 or less than equal to 3. So that's it. Now we have our relation in the simplest form possible. So this will help us visualize the answer in more clearer and easier way. Okay, so make sure whenever you are seeing a relation which can be written in this form, make sure to do that as soon as possible. Okay, so here come some basics which some of you might be familiar with, some of you might not be. So now we have seen the set, the relation. Now look at the definitions of reflexive, symmetric and transitive. Okay, so reflexive here shows that if we are talking about any element from the set. So what are the elements here? We have taken 1, 2 and 3. So if we take any element, its relationship with itself should exist. Okay, that means 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2 and 3 comma 3 should exist. Now can you guys check for this one? Can you see 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2 and 3 comma 3? I can. if you can also, that means it is reflexive. It is reflexive. So what does reflexive says? That if we have an element from the set, that should give us a comma a also belong to the relation. It's a relationship with itself exist. Okay, got it? Wonderful. So now let's move to our next second definition, and I'll clear the board for you. Okay, so here it comes. Now comes the symmetric. What does symmetric says? That if we have an element like a1, a2 from the relation, and if we do it like this, we interchange them, that should also belong to relation. Okay, that means if I am talking about this example, if I have 1 comma 1, its opposite 1 comma 1 should exist. If I have 1 comma 2, that implies that 2 comma 1 should exist. For each and every single question, make sure I am emphasizing on this word each and every. Okay, so I will later on tell why I am emphasizing this much on this. So for each and every element, its opposite should also belong to the relation. Then we say it's symmetric. Okay, let's look at the relation one by one. If we translate 1 comma 1, it will be again 1 comma 1, which is there. If we interchange it, it will become 2 comma 1. Can you find the element 2 comma 1 in relation? No, it's not there. Okay, it's not there. That means it is not symmetric. Okay, for 3 comma 2 we should have 3, 2 comma 3 we should have 3 comma 2. Okay, for 1 comma 3 we should also have 3 comma 1. If such things do exist, then it is symmetric. If they are not, then it is not symmetric. Okay, so just to be sure, I am again expressing it. If we are able to find, if we have a comma b belong to relation, it should imply that b comma a is also in the relation. Okay, so this is the definition of symmetric. Now I'll again clear the board. Now comes the transitive. Okay, okay, so now comes the transitive. Most of the students find this part as the most difficult one. Okay, I will try to make it as simple as possible. So what does transitive says? That transitive says that if we have an element like a1, a2, and we have another element like a2, a3. Okay, that means these are same. Okay, so it should imply that we have an element like a1 comma a3. Okay, instead of using these, let's take simple notation. Okay, so I have taken like, if we have element like a comma b and b comma a. Okay, so if it is given in our question, if it is already existing in our relation, and if we are able to prove that a comma c is also in relation, okay, then it is reflexive. Then then it is reflexive. Okay, I hope this point is clear for you. And if we want to take a look at this relation, let's look at all the elements such that its one element's later part is same as another element's first part. Okay, so how many pairs can we generate from this relation? As I can see, I have 1 1 and I have 1 2. Another pair I have is 1 1 and 1 3. If we are looking at more, it will give us 1 2 and 2 3, 1 2 and 2 2. We have some more here, that is 1 3 3 3, 2 2, 2 3. In case I missed any, then you can also cross check it to see how well you are doing in it. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so it, so in case if I have missed anything, be my guest, let me know if I missed something. But here, for this element, what should we have? We should have 1 comma 2. Can you find 1 comma 2 here? Yes, I can. Now for the next pair, we should have 1 comma 3. Can you see 1 comma 3? Yes. For the next pair, it should be again 1 comma 3, and we have 1 comma 3. Next pair, we should have 1 comma 2. Can you see 1 comma 2? Yes, I can. I'm sure you all can. Okay. For this next pair, we should have 1 comma 3. Can you see 1 comma 3? Here it is. For the next pair, you should have 2 comma 3. And again 2 comma 3 is here. That means for every such element that one's later part is equal to another one's first part, we have this pair with us. Okay, we have this pair with us, this pair with us. Okay, so this is transitive. If you want to write it down somewhere, I will write it. You can take a screenshot and then note it down, or you can pause the video. Okay, so here I have written it in as simplest way as possible. So these are the conditions which need to be present, and these are the conditions which we will be proving. If these exist, then we can say it is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Okay, and if you guys can remember, I made a cloud and told you each and every. Okay, what it means? It means that if we want to prove a relation is not reflexive, if we want to prove it's not transitive, it's not symmetric, even one example is enough. Okay, but if we want to prove it is symmetric, if we want to prove it is transitive, we need to prove that for every single element. In short, in layman language, if I say, to prove anything wrong, if you point out one mistake, they are wrong. But if you want to prove that someone is right, you have to make sure that he is right in every single part. He is not doing anything bad. Then he is a good person, he is right. Okay? So to prove any of the relation wrong, even one example is sufficient. To prove it right, we have to check for all possible options. Okay?